Hi students, today's lecture focuses sampling techniques. In any research study, especially in medical and social sciences, it is often not possible to collect data from the entire population. Therefore, researchers select a smaller group known as the sample to represent the whole population. Today's lecture session objectives are important concept related to sampling, types of sampling, probability and non-probability sampling methods, types of probability and non-probability sampling techniques, and their main characteristics. Sampling. Sampling is the procedure of selecting a number of study unit sample from a defined population is called sampling. A representative sample has all important characteristics of the population from which it is drawn. Get information about large population. Sampling have less cost, less field time, and more accuracy. Important sampling terms. Population, a set which includes all measurements of interest to the researcher. A sample is a subset of the population. Important sampling terms. Target population. The target population to be studied to which the investigator wants to generalize his results. For example, MBBS students at Karachi. Sampling unit. Smallest unit from which sample can be selected. For example, a MBBS student. Sampling frame. List of all the sampling units from which sample is drawn. List of all MBBS students. There are two main types of sampling techniques, probability sampling techniques and non-probability sampling techniques. In probability sampling, when each sampling unit has an equal and non-chance of being included in sample. In non-probability sampling, when sampling units do not have an equal chance of being included in the sample. There are four main types of probability sampling techniques. The first one is simple random sampling, systematic sampling technique, stratified random sampling techniques, and cluster sampling techniques. In simple random sampling techniques, selecting a simple random sampling techniques, we need two things. The first one is make a number list of all study sampling units in the population from which we want to draw a sample. Second thing is select the required number of sampling unit using a lottery method or random number table. This is our sample of random number table. We can get it from Google. We take a part of sample number table. Here we start sampling column wise. First participants we select randomly or through the our finger and the first one is 20, the second one is 23. We move column wise in down position. The next one is 52. We cannot select these participants because our population size is 48 and the sample size is 5. The next one is 57 and the next one is 32. We select this person, and the next number is 33. We select this person, and the next one is 63 and 95. The next number is 15. We select 15 one. We covered all 5 sample size. Here the visual of simple random sampling method. Systematic sampling. In systematic sampling, we use a friction between population size and the sample size. First element randomly select from all the elements through a random number table or the lottery method, or a finger randomly stop in the random number table, then every kth element thereafter. N is equal to 48 and small n is equal to 3. First we find the kth element. 48 divided by 3 is equal to 16th one is the our kth element. First one we select through finger randomly. We move our finger in random number table and stop. This one is 15. The next one is 16th one. First we select 15 plus 16th is 31, and the next 16th position is 47. Here we complete our sample size. Our sample size is 3. Cluster sampling. Group of sampling unit close to each other. Sampling frame are not available, crowding together in the same area. First we divide our population in geographical area like cluster wise. We have 7 cluster and then randomly select 2 cluster and then select our participants from these 2 clusters. Here we have 5 cluster or 5 session of a geographical area. Randomly we select 2 cluster, session 1 and session 5, and then we select our household, 4 household from each clusters. Stratified sampling. Frame is not homogeneous, separating the population element into non-overlapping groups, strata, rural and urban areas of any geographical area. For example, here we consider different strata and select 3 strata: Karachi, Hyderabad and Nawabshah. Then we first level we use cluster sampling, and after that we use stratified sampling. We divide our clusters into 2 strata: urban population and rural population base. This is the second level of the sampling. Then we select our participants randomly at third levels of the sampling. Non-probability sampling. In non-probability sampling does not involve random selection of participants not representative of the population. Researchers do not prefer non-probabilistic sampling methods or techniques over probabilistic ones. There are 2 main types of non-probability sampling techniques. The first one is convenience sampling and the second one is purposive sampling. Convenience sampling, other name is accidental or haphazard sampling, and the old name of The convenience sampling is man on the street. Interviews conducted frequently by television news program, quick reading of public opinion used in clinical practice, participants involved in as a voluntary, not representative of the population. The second type of the non-probability sampling is purposive sampling, consecutive sampling also called. Purpose in mind one or more specific predefined groups. Opinion of target population mainly used in market research. We further divide the purposive sampling into three types: expert sampling, quota sampling, proportional quota sampling, or non proportional quota sampling. And the third one is snowball sampling. Expert or panel sampling involves the gathering of a sample of persons with non demonstrable experience and expertise in some area. Panel of experts to reason the views of persons who have specific expertise, validity of another person or expert. Quota sampling. Select people non-randomly to accordingly to some fixed quota. Proportional quota sampling represent the major characteristics of the population by sampling a proportional amount of each. Non-proportional quota sampling specify the minimum number of sample unit you want in each category, not concerned with match the proportion in the population, assure that will be able to talk about the even small groups. Snowball sampling method. Begin identifying someone who meets the criteria for inclusion, ask them to recommend other who also meet the criteria. Hardly lead to representative samples, trying to reach populations that are inaccessible or hard to find. Capture recapture method. It is not a type of sampling method, but we use this method for capturing with two or more incomplete list. Capturing our sample from two or more incomplete list. Counting the total number of individuals in a population, two or more incomplete list of those individuals originally used in wildlife capture, tag, recapture, calculate. Birds, for example, polar bears, etc. Here we have two sources model, list 1 and list 2 capture 2 or 4 persons and list 2 commonly capture 2 persons and some persons are not captured by list 1 and 2. This is the two sources model in capture recapture method. It is used estimate prevalence or incidence from incomplete sources. Simplify prevalence surveys for your attention. Please subscribe and like our channel and press bell icon for more videos.